Hey everyone, welcome to the Sim Hanger. My name's Mark. In this video we're going to have a look at some revised dates for Sim Update 15, details on the next city update and the next aircraft in the famous Flyer series. There was also further details provided on memory management for Xbox pilots to try and avoid those blank screens. And a very interesting question was asked during the development update regarding dynamic LOD for PC, and an even more interesting answer from Asobo. And we also get a sneak peek at just a little bit more information on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Let's get started. For the update, we had Jorg, Sebastian and Marcel as per normal, and in this video I'll only be covering what I consider to be the main highlight. Link to the full stream in the notes below this video. Most notably, of course, was Sim Update 15 being pushed back to the 26th of March, and Jorg did mention that it could still vary by a day or two, depending on progress made. What was clearly evident, however, is they've been fairly busy. There's a ton of fixes, and as Jorg said, they'd rather get it right and delay it than put out something that's not quite ready. They mentioned they've been spending quite a lot of time on memory management to improve stability of the platform on both PC and Xbox. Mainly relevant to Xbox users, however, is that the WASM memory module has been partly rewritten. Various memory blocks were not clearing out as expected, and primarily here they're addressing the issue of the black screens. The Xbox features dynamically changing levels of detail, particularly when the system is under load at a large airport with a complex aircraft. They don't believe they've resolved the issue absolutely and completely because of the limitation in terms of memory availability for the Xbox, applicable particularly to the Xbox Series S, but they believe it'll be a big improvement. Time, of course, will be the judge of that. Turning now to the A320 Neo from Inibuilds. Jorg said that at this stage everything's looking very promising, that it'll be released on or around the same date as Sim Update 15. And Cameron gave us a rundown on some of the detail and features built into this A320. This is coming, of course, for free into the sim, and I think we can take it as a given that this will be the default A320 in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 when it's released later this year. More on that later in the video. From what we've seen so far, I think it would be safe to say that this is certainly payware quality, with a fair amount of system depth, and I must say the attention to detail looks very good indeed, as does the texturing. During one of the Q&A sessions there was a very interesting question asked, following on from a number of third-party applications that have been released recently, such as Auto FPS, that allows PC users to enable a dynamic adjustment to their level of detail when their system is under load, on final approach, for example, to maintain a stable FPS, of particular interest to those on lower and medium-end systems. The answer we got from Seb was very positive and encouraging. This is what he had to say.
This is exactly how it works already on the Xbox. This system is working very, very well. Actually, we never thought about doing this on PC, and I think it's actually a very, very good idea. So I think we put this somewhere on a backlog. I don't think it's very complex because it's already working very well. It's just opening the option and adding a button, translating, and all this. But I think we put it under our backlog and added. It's a very good idea. I think we never had this on our plans, but it's an easy addition, and I agree with the community. It works very well.
Providing you can enable or disable the dynamic LOD or level of detail settings, and as mentioned, primarily aimed at those on lower to medium-end systems struggling to achieve a reasonable or playable FPS. This literally will be a game changer, and I think their positive response is encouraging. City Update 6 is scheduled for April, and this time it's the home of Jorg, Southwest Germany, with a fair number of towns and cities getting their photogrammetry treatment. For anybody from this area or somebody like me who flies into Germany quite regularly, many of these names will be very familiar. One of my favorite destinations is Stuttgart, so I'm glad to see that that's been included as well. And if you fly VFR, well, the stadium is a key landmark. And interestingly, although not part of southwest Germany, just across the river here, is Strasbourg has been included as well. In addition, with the city update will come one airport. It's Friedrichshafen, please forgive my pronunciation, and this airport has been included as it leads us on to the next local legend release, also scheduled for April. Once again, it's from Anybuilds, and it's again an aircraft we've never heard of, the Dornier Do-31. But this one has piqued my interest. It's fairly unusual. Only 3, I believe, were ever built, and it's a VTOL. It had vertical takeoff and landing capabilities. Wasn't particularly aerodynamic, and as the developer said, it got in the air through brute force and sheer ignorance. But this is one I'm certainly going to be giving it a spin. The aircraft itself never made it into commercial production and was largely experimental in nature. Jörg shared the roadmap with us, indicating future world and city updates, as well as one further sim update. Obviously, developments tailing off to some degree due to the introduction of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and much to my surprise, Jörg did share a little spot of information regarding the upcoming sim, and indicated that the development updates coming up he would occasionally share some aircraft and developer announcements. And I do have to wonder, and yes, I'm speculating to some degree here, was the time frame for the release of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 leaked out inadvertently? I don't know. Listen to this.
That people buy this in September or something, and then, right after that comes Flight Sim 2024 and it's in there. So I was thinking about maybe pulling it from the marketplace, at least our marketplace, in June or so. But I'm flexible.
If you're wondering what that conversation was about, well, there's already a Vision Jet in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And the Vision Jet will be included as one of the base aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, but it won't be from the current developer. It's coming from FlightFX. And it would appear that the Aero Jetson 1, which has already made its appearance in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, will be included in the 2024 package as well. In closing, I'd just like to make one final comment, and having watched the development update live on Twitch, I have to say I was somewhat disappointed by the degree of negativity expressed by some of those watching, and commenting accordingly. I have no problem taking the developers to task, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do things, and some members of our community have certainly got the wrong end of the stick, to the point of not only being rude but downright offensive. My simple message here, we need to keep things in perspective. As always, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found it useful and informative. Stay well, see you soon, and ciao for now.